I stood on the back porch, staring down that big black hole that led into the cellar of my grandma's house in Newport, Virginia. The fear inside me felt like an angry animal that was going to burst out of my chest at any minute. I could hear the birds outside in the trees, chirping away, making happy sounds. The smells of old lady powder, fresh churned butter, and cow manure drifted through the air and wrapped themselves around my paralyzed body. Comforting sense, happy sense, familiar sense. But at that moment, nothing could block out the horrors that my adolescent mind had conjured up when I was told to go down that doorway into hell and bring Granny some potatoes. Why me? What was wrong with their legs? Or were they just chicken and decided to send the kid to do the dirty work? And why today? It was summer, the sun blazing away in the big blue sky like it didn't have a worry in the world. I had a creek to play in, rocks to climb, important stuff, and the day was wasting. And dang it, I was happy today. But that was before they turned my life upside down with their request. Why did I have to go down into that dark world where the monsters of all sorts lived, just waiting to pounce and gobble me up like an old Thanksgiving turkey? But I knew better than to say no. I knew better than to cry about it, because if I cried, if I was a fraidy cat, and if I said no, I had to walk around with a sore backside for days. So down into the darkness I went, slowly, one step at a time. My bones were rattling together. I was shaking so hard. Each step I took, I just knew something was gonna reach out and grab me and I would never be seen again. It would serve them right, I thought. But with bravado I didn't possess, I soldiered on, step by step, into the darkness. At the bottom of the steps, I stopped and looked around, eyes slit, peering through the shadowy depths. There was a shaft of light from a small window that penetrated the gloom and lit up one corner. And in that corner, I could see my goal, the potato bin. I figured if I ran as fast as I could and stayed in the light, I would be safe. I might even be so fast I would become invisible to the creatures. So I took a deep breath and took off. In my head, it looked like a really long way to the bin, but with arms and legs pumping away and dirt flying, I was there in a few seconds. I grabbed potatoes with both hands, keeping my eyes focused, not risking looking around into the darkness. I could feel them there, waiting for me, arms and claws grabbing at the air. Once I had as many potatoes as I dared take the time to collect, I turned and ran for the stairs. I hit the bottom stair and bolted up them like I'd been shot out of a cannon. They were behind me. I knew they were. I had to run faster and faster, or I was doomed. I could see the light in the doorway at the top of the stairs. Safety! It was only a few feet away now. I could make it. I knew I could. My heart was pounding in my chest, absolute terror pushing through me. And then, just like that, it was over. I shot out of the mouth of the monster den onto the back porch and fell onto the old glider, potatoes falling and scattering over the floor. I couldn't get my breath and felt like I might throw up, but the relief of being alive was utter joy. I had done it! I had done it! I had looked those demons right in the face and spit in their eyes. Take that, you dirty monsters. You ain't gonna get me because I'm too smart and too fast. I just sat on the glider, breathing for a minute or two, a big smile on my face. I listened to the chickadees outside and smelled all those familiar scents again. And I just sat and took deep breaths, so happy to be alive. After a minute or two, I gathered up all the potatoes and ran into the kitchen and threw them on the table. Granny was at the sink, and I ran up behind her, grabbing her waist and hugging her as tight as I could. She never turned around, but I could feel her smiling. Then she said, "I'm gonna get your grandpa to put some lights in that cellar soon. It's too dark down there. Somebody might get hurt. And I almost stepped on an old black snake down there one time." My heart almost stopped. It was true. There really were demons and monsters and mean, ugly things in the cellar. But I had escaped them all. I turned and ran out of the kitchen, slamming through the screen door and onto the back porch out in the warm summer sun. The creek was beckoning, and the day was as beautiful as I thought it would be. And I was still alive. I didn't have to go back to the cellar that summer, and the next year, Grandpa did put in lights and a concrete floor down there, making it a proper basement. But Granny still had part of it kept dark with a dirt floor for her root cellar. With Grandpa holding my hand, keeping me safe, I went back down into that cellar to look at the changes. It wasn't so scary anymore, but I still never went back.